Ready?
Not a single thing. Fucked in last week. It's got to be surgery. I'm still just a new person.
That'll be tested.
See how you do.
Alright, come to intro. Crap the shit in it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Corner Wrestling Radio. We are back. It is another Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Unless, of course, you forgot to set your clocks back. And if that's the case, I'm sorry we're late.
Yes.
We're live right here on Spreaker.com for Corner Wrestling Radio. Wrestling.com has just recently been updated with about 300 different photos from the Legends Fest. That's how many photos we had there. And that's not including the doubles that apparently I took of different things. Rob had sent over some photos as well, so I'll be throwing those out there. At least I think you did, Rob. I have to double check that. But of course, it's the triple threat in the house. Myself, Stan Grubb, Brian Taylor.
Hello, hello.
And Rob Hefner.
Rob, that's your cue.
You'd speak now.
I am sorry.
He gives you permission now.
Oh, I can talk. Okay. I shut up now. Bye.
So, before we go too far, my apologies for last weekend. A horrible technological nightmare for me. I ended up seeing the pay-per-view about the last half of it because I was fiddling with getting Skype up and running and couldn't get that to go, couldn't get Spreaker to link up. Nothing was working. So it's completely my fault. I apologize to our dear listeners. You may send all hate mail to robhefner@hotmail.com.
Actually, no, because Brian and Rob stayed on the line and kept going.
Yeah.
Even though Stan dropped the ball and hung up on everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, in his defense, though, he did have foot and mouth disease or whatever.
yeah, it wasn't as if I was going to be able to be actually in the house.
And he had to, he also had to shut up and leave when he was told. So
Yeah, I mean, it was a health
Mary
nightmare.
Poppins syndrome.
I had two kids with strep throat, two kids, one kid who wasn't sick at all, thank God, one kid that had thrush, and then as things progressed throughout the week before last week's show, hand, foot, and mouth came into the picture. Of course, I got strep because, if you've got kids and they get strep, you're definitely going to get it. And then I ended up getting that stupid hand, foot, and mouth nonsense, which was the absolute worst. So not a single bit of fun to be had at all. And I would never want to do that again. But so that was why from multiple location station last week, and I was just not able to keep the connection going. So that was my fault. Hopefully you guys didn't miss us too bad, although I will say this, for only 30 minutes on the air, we did have a pretty outstanding amount of downloads. So yet again, let me just say thank you to our Corner to Corner faithful for sticking with us. And we promise we will continue to put out the good, wholesome family radio that we do. Wow.
That's horseshit.
Well, and as you can tell, we are not broadcasting live from BeyondRingside.com this evening. Eddie Lane is still handling some family issues. I hope that his dad's getting better. I did hear from him last week. His dad ended up having to have surgery once that was planned, and then I found out earlier today through Twitter, actually, that he had another one that was unplanned. So he's really been dealing with a lot on the Beyond Ringside side. So if you could keep Eddie Lane in your thoughts, and his father in your thoughts, of course, I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
And if you're the Young Bucks, I'm sure he'd love nothing better than to hear from you.
You guys should just totally too sweet him. That's all I'm saying.
That would be great. That would be from the guys. Too sweet.
Too sweet me, bro. So, wow, what a week that was in professional wrestling. So much going on. First off, let's talk about TNA's courtroom woes continuing. So, bring you up to speed, Billy Corrigan, who's been working really hard to try to get control and ownership of TNA, had filed an injunction to keep Dixie Carter from selling the company to anybody. Essentially, what it was to do was to lock her out and give him the ability to start putting some positive income to the fold and to help to bring things up to speed. Well,
okay, keep going.
Monday evening, a judge returns a decision that they are throwing out the injunction, not the case, but the injunction, so that Dixie Carter is able to continue to work to sell the company, which, according to Anthem, the owner of Fight Network, or the Fight Network, they are now working in conjunction with Dixie Carter to continue working with TNA. The next set of TV tapings is planned for January. Now, the TV tapings that TNA did most recently would have kept them up through Thanksgiving, I believe. So we're looking at about 30 days of dead air for TNA.
Yeah, but that's not new. Normally, they would just do like highlight shows.
And best ofs, yeah.
Right. You might get one of these pay-per-views that they put together that they don't really, publicize all that much.
Right, one of the one-night onlys.
Yeah.
So here's the other part that makes this get even worse or even more interesting, depending on what side of the fence you're on. In the United Kingdom, TNA has touted their success with ratings and fan base. They have always stated that they have a great reach over there, and they also draw pretty good attendance at their live shows when they're overseas. Well, unfortunately, just this week, it was announced that the network that they were airing on had declined to renew them and had therefore canceled their contract, effective immediately. Now, TNA would have had you believe that they were still going to be on the air and they were working on a new deal. This is the funniest part of this. It happened on Facebook, where Dixie Carter is tweeting, or not tweeting, but putting a status update from Impact Wrestling's site. And the actual network themselves, one of their presidents or representatives, breaks into the comment thread and essentially advises that that network and TNA no longer have a partnership and have severed ties. And they wish TNA the best in their future endeavors.
You gotta love that.
Can't make this stuff up, guys.
Well, what I found funny is unlike in WCW and the Black Hummer,
WCW,
we did find out that Billy Corrigan is the one who fronted $1.3 million.
which is quite a bit of money.
Mm-hmm. And then they tried to, they told him that we'll pay you back by this date. If not, you're allowed to basically exercise a clause in the contract and then take over 36% of the company.
Correct.
So the day comes, they don't pay him back. I don't know if he's reached a decision, but he did put out a tweet that maybe he'll just sell
his portion.
His portion.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe he'll take the 36%, turn around and sell it
to a pro wrestling titan.
Right. So it could be the WWE's back in the TNA hunt.
Here's the thing. When ECW folded, I can remember that we all knew that Vince McMahon had his hand in keeping them afloat for as long as he did. But what we didn't know was that in order to keep them from going through a messy bankruptcy filing, he basically got, for pennies on the dollar, the video library. Mm-hmm. We're probably seeing yet again Vince and Stephanie and Triple H basically getting TNA for pennies on the dollar. Hey, we'll pay your debts, we'll keep you out of court, and then everything is ours.
Right. We want the video library. So that it's interesting. I'll be curious to see where it goes from here.
I mean, it's sad for the full-time talent that they have there. They have a lot of guys that are well-established that can pretty much find work wherever they want. But they've also got a lot of young talent, both Knockouts division and the X division, where this was their big time. This was their breakout.
Well, I know that Mike Bennett is not too happy with a few tweets he's put out.
And neither is Maria Kanellis.
So I think what Billy should do is, if he's smart enough, is that if he has the 1.3 to front the company, is basically say, screw it. I'm going to start my own, and then as talent leaves,
Right.
then they go to Billy. I would imagine with Mike's tweets that Billy had something getting him there, probably getting some Moose there, probably some of these other guys. So it wouldn't be hard for him to coup.
The interesting part of this is as they come up with about 30 days of really nothing going on, we're going to just say December for now, some of these wrestlers are now starting to exercise their rights to become free agents, which is really where this is going to come back to bite Dixie, because now she's going to start losing talent out the back door, basically. They don't have to stay. They don't have to show up. I mean, she'll probably have some loyal people there that have seen her through everything else up to now. Why not stick it out?
Well, the only one left would be James Storm. I think.
And Storm finished up his last deal a couple months ago.
Yeah, and I honestly, James, you would have to be just a teetotal idiot for you not to go
back to NXT.
And I'm sure Hunter and Stephanie and Vince will welcome you there with open arms. Oh my goodness, Bobby Roode and James Storm again,
glorious.
Yeah, but done the right way.
Rob, what do you think, man, about TNA just going through this miserable downward spiral?
He's probably broke. That's why he hadn't said nothing. He's probably crying in his West Virginia beer right now.
Delete. What do you think, Rob?
I think that Dixie is the pyramid scheme person. You know, I mean, hey, pay me money and I'll help me keep my company running, but you can't have any say about it. And when you do, we're going to go to court about it. Oh, and I'm going to pay you in, oh, wait a minute. You know, I'm going to give you 36% of the company. I mean, it's bad all the way around.
Nobody pays me in Skittles.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, the interesting thing is, I don't think they have a choice. There's no way they can back out on this 36% of the company. The deadline's coming on. They didn't pay.
36% of nothing is still nothing.
Yeah, but however, depending on how it's divided up between the four parties that I'm pretty sure are still there, 36%. That's a lot. That's a big percentage.
Well, and then,
but how many people has she promised 36% to?
That's a great question.
How many other people have bailed her out, and then she's continued to take, you know, your money?
I think this one is definitely actionable in a court of law, and if he's got it written down, he wins. I don't see how he couldn't.
Well, the problem for her is she's dealing with somebody who has been screwed before and has lawyers and is not playing the game.
Right.
You know, it's not a fan. He's a fan, but he's not a dumb fan of, hey, I'm going to throw my money over this and let you do it.
Right.
No, he wants to know where his money's going. And
he's not bowing down.
Well, he's seeing that his money's going nowhere. I mean, come on, we're dealing with a company that got evicted from their offices. Oh, we're going to relocate to the warehouse. Bullshit. You got kicked out because you couldn't pay for it.
You think she'd be stupid enough to do that again?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
she did February's pay-per-view, she was short. We were like, hey, here's $1.3 million. We want 36%.
Right. We'll get a loan. We will get a loan. Well, she did it to Eric Bischoff. She did it to Bischoff back in 2010.
I mean, God help her if she tries to have a shareholders meeting. Hey, guys, everybody who's 36% come. Oh, never mind.
Oh, no, you're not able to join this meeting unless you have 37%.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen is the next couple of TV tapings that they have in that little gap, it's going to be Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy out on the ranch. Because they're like, oh, well, we got our own GoPro cameras and we'll film our own stuff. Thank you very much.
And, you know, I wouldn't be shocked because they had their own promotion before. So I'm sure they're well.
Oh, I mean, they're the ones responsible for Omega out of North Carolina. And Omega is vastly popular in the independents.
And then plus you figured they would take Helms.
Oh, yeah.
The two...
your X division would probably go.
Well, I mean, as you said before, like the people that this screws It doesn't screw your James Storms. It doesn't screw your Eddie Edwards, because those guys will get picked up by WB.
Right.
You know, those guys will get picked up. It's the ones who this is their shot. You know, because you gotta admit, there's only so many seats at the table. You know, WWE has their roster. They have NXT. And obviously what would be great is if they ran this, you know, like a separate federation and just didn't say anything about it. But WWE's not about that. Vince is about killing the competition.
Well, I think with TNA, what we're seeing right now is we're seeing them unravel based off of just poor business decisions. And
This
now
is blasphemy. Rob,
What?
he is currently logging in to his good buddy
Smeltzer.
Smelter's website.
Well, what I was trying to get was basically the details of what Corrigan had put up on Twitter.
Well, 'cause,
I don't feel
you
like I
know,
can track him down.
You know, Meltzer owns 36%.
Of Wrestling Observer.
Well,
I mean,
that's awesome.
That's what we
This-
ought to do. We should file a class action lawsuit against TNA, Dixie Carter, fight all of them.
and Dave and Meltzer.
The country owns 36%.
They should just announce Donald Trump as the mystery owner, just to see what happens.
If you don't pay us all $1 by 12 o'clock tomorrow,
Is this those class action lawsuits that you see, and they're like, if you've ever had a bad rental at Blockbuster, please call us,
Exactly.
and you will earn 36%, 36 cents on whatever of this class action lawsuit.
I've actually been a part of a couple in
I have.
$15, $20 checks.
Google for their smartphones, the way the in-app purchases were done.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the way they were doing it was illegal. So I ended up getting like $50 back from Google at one point.
And he's like, see, I didn't buy all that porn.
Wait, what?
It was Google. Damn Google.
Google! I was looking at the statistics.
Porn.
here. What? Shut up, Rob.
The statistics of who TNA's paid, who they have.
Well, I mean, Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan took her to court and won because she promised them part ownership in the company. And then she tried to renege on it. She tried to tell them, no, you can't have it. So Bischoff took her to court for that. Then you've got Corrigan, who's been trying to bankroll her for a long time. I mean, when you look at some of these guys, like their head creative writer just left the company.
Mm-hmm.
He just left. Josh Matthews, he's probably on his way out. Gubrick, the guy that used to be in charge of WWE's Tough Enough, he's probably going to be gone soon because he's one of Dixie's lackeys. Kanellis and Bennett, their basic stance is, and this came from Maria Kanellis Bennett. She's actually married to Mike Bennett now. Any news doesn't ever tell the whole story. It will be an interesting next couple months. What I know is I am leaving wrestling soon. I'm not exactly sure when, but that's why I went back to school. I am done in May with my bachelor's, and then I'm on to my master's degree. Eventually, everyone must realize that the road never changes unless you change the roads. Now, she's not the only one. Davey Richards, on November 1st, advised that 2017 would be his last year in wrestling. So, add to the whole mix, now you've got people just saying, I'm done. I don't want to deal with the money marks anymore. I don't want to deal with any of this mess. And so endeth the lesson for them. Hey, in other news, Hulk Hogan finally got his settlement, $31 million cash from Gawker. Not bad.
Not bad.
Hulkamania running wild.
Well, wasn't he supposed to get 100 and some million?
Yeah, the initial judgment was like 115, but right after, as we actually predicted, right after the judgment came out, Gawker basically goes bankrupt. They split the company into pieces. The majority owner decides to flee the coop, and now they get the money from whatever assets were left. So Hogan got paid.
The guy who was running Gawker is still running Gawker.
Yeah,
they're just changing it. They're just going to change the name, and they're going to come back out and do the same thing.
Well, I would think though that if the guy that's running it was in the lawsuit, that you could still put a lien against him for $90 million.
It wasn't even Hogan didn't even pay the legal fees.
No, his attorney actually invited him for it.
Some guy. There's another guy who got that Gawker outed him, like told everybody his sexuality before he could tell his family.
Beautiful.
And so like Gawker, and so this guy apparently is loaded and was like, I will support you, because he bankrolled Hogan's legal team. And he said, I will bankroll anybody who wants to go against Gawker. And I want to put him out of business. And that's so Gawker goes, ha ha ha, we'll take our ball and go home.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, I'd love to go to court and say that Gawker is the reason for all of my marital woes and everything else that's happened in my life. Can I just do that?
No, that was Google.
Oh, okay. That was good.
Yeah, we've already established that.
So let's talk about some good news. Something that's really cool that just came out this past week. I sent you guys the information on it, what limited information that's out there right now. The company called Flow Sports announced this week that they would be airing Evolve, Shine, ACW, and now Beyond Wrestling and IPW live all year long, a new, basically indie streaming service for $20 a month off of flowslam.tv.
Now, do I have to pay for the pay-per-views or whatever?
No, so how this works is it's basically just like WWE Network.
Mm-hmm.
So you pay a flat rate every month. And the best part about it is it's a little bit more expensive, and this is what I was going to bring up to you guys, so hang on for this, but it's a little bit more expensive, but what you're getting is at the same time.
There's more.
That's right. There's more. With what you're getting the live events as they happen every month while it streams in high def, which, by the way, I watched Shine 38 this past weekend. Didn't have one glitch. High def. Now, I mean, it's independent wrestling, so you're not going to get the pyrotechnics and all that jazz, but who really needs that if the wrestling's good? But what you're also getting is the archives of Evolve, Dragon Gate USA, Full Impact Pro down in Florida, Shine, of course, their archives, and he's still announcing more. He being Jeremy Blotter, who is the owner or the president of the company. As soon as I caught wind of it, I went ahead and went to the website and signed up because I wanted, at the very least, to watch some old Evolve stuff. And the first 2 nights, I watched at least 2 or 3 Evolve shows, just had them playing in the background. And but the streaming quality, the entire matches, the announcements, the only thing that I noticed is the Evolve shows that had appearances by a WWE guy like William Regal or whatever, they had cut that out. So like at the beginning of one of the Evolve shows, it's just a cold open right to the announcer in the ring for the first match, instead of, the music and the intros and all that, because the one that I watched was Johnny Gargano's last independent show. Mm-hmm. So Regal shows up there because he's actually announcing that there's some kind of partnership or something like that, and they're welcoming Gargano to the fold, but they're also keeping an eye for new talent, whatever the case may be. But if you haven't had a chance to check this out, you can access them, of course, through the web at flowslam.tv. They have an app on Roku. They have an app on Apple TV. And per their press release this week, they're going to have an app for iOS, for Android, and also for, there's a third platform. I just can't remember it. Smart TVs. I want to say that, but I can't remember the actual platform. But it's a really exciting time because this is 60 live events per year is what they're advertising. So at $20 a month for independent wrestling, if you're getting 60 events live streamed plus the archives, is that a good deal or a bad deal?
That's overload. Sensory overload.
It's a lot of events.
Because you figure, the 24 with the WWE.
Yep.
Pay-per-views alone.
NXT. And then any of their
Ring of Honor.
Right, and then Ring of Honor if you're catching any of that.
Don't have to worry about TNA.
Well, TNA's video library will be on the network here in the next few months.
Yeah, I'd have to get like some cybernetic hookup or something.
Having like an IV
sleeping jacket in it. So I mean that wouldn't be bad because I like when I play games. That's when I normally will, just binge something off of Netflix or something. So I could definitely do it there, but that's just a whole mess of wrestling available to you now.
Well, just in case $20 is too high for it, they have a year plan for $150 for the year. Breaks down to $12.50 a month. I don't know what their profit margin is from this. It could be that this guy's making money simply off of one-offs, guys that sign up and then they're out for a month. Because at $12.50 a month, if you bought a year, I mean, I want to know what his overhead is because he's got to have the server space. He's got to have a good quality ISP. All of the things that the WWE Network ran into when they first started. He's 2 steps ahead of the game because he waited.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he could also have a background in it too.
Right.
Or, his right-hand man has the background or whatever. Plus, they probably learned from the WWE, some of their mistakes. But I would imagine that if they get enough people signing up, that it'll probably become very profitable and they'll get more federations.
Yeah. I mean, I think that as they continue to grow, the sky's the limit. As long as they've got a good, steady influx of cash.
Now, if they were smart, they would also start posting results or something as well. Something to make the website interactive.
Well, apparently the parent company, Flow Sports, has been doing this for a little while now. And they stream.
They got everything.
Yeah, they've got Olympic events. They've got soccer, football, baseball, hockey, wrestling, boxing, MMA.
Track and field.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the whole 9 yards.
There's probably 20, 25 sports.
So did this guy just slip under the radar with licensing and just manage to get in there in the nick of time? Because how do you manage to air that much?
No, nobody else is doing it.
That's true.
I mean, Evolve.
Is that the next podcast is now a network, streaming networks? Like podcasts, the craze took off. And
No, I mean, think about it. Look at Beyond Ringside.
Yeah.
You just fall under that umbrella. Everybody on the network falls under that umbrella. So if everybody on the network was good enough to get paid for it,
right,
then he would just charge a flat fee, and you see what I'm saying? That's that easy.
I mean, I think it's smart. What kind of confuses me about it is how did this guy just manage to pull it off?
He didn't,
unless he was just independently wealthy.
No, well,
or he's a hell of a businessman.
It's called everybody else. Everybody, all the other federations saw what the WWE Network did, and they said, "Wait a minute, why can't we do one?" So somebody who had the wherewithal and the resources said, "Hey, I'm going to reach out to Evolve and Shine and all these other places that aren't getting their due, and we'll put it in a one-stop shop. Here, this one app, you can get all these different wrestling federations, and this is the price. It's not $9.99 a month. $35,000 or something. I don't know.
The other thing is how long have they been in business? Because with all those sports, they could very well have been in for a while.
Well, I mean, if you go to flowsports.tv, I believe that's their homepage.
And they probably, since they've been doing all these other sports, they probably already have the ground, the ground level there with the contacts with these people. You know, they probably broadcasted Evolve events and Shine events and things like that.
Weightlifting. Who watches weightlifting?
It all started with $10,000, a van, and a whole lot of passion. That's their tagline on their Our Story on flowsports.tv. They've even got their own YouTube video for it, which I can't seem to find out how much time it is. Maybe it's a 10-minute video.
Yeah, but for all we know, the WWE caught wind of them and decided to do
and they're one of the primary investors in this company. The amount of money WWE put in to this company, they could have said, hey, screw TNA. We're going to jump in with an indie group and basically revolutionize the business again, because that's what they're doing.
And is there anybody to say that they haven't?
Well,
Because you think about it, if they're in the bottom, if they're in the ground level of this, kind of laying the groundwork, like helping these people get this app up and running, who's to say it's not like a Facebook or an Instagram? You know, they find out this is the next thing. Let's do this. Boom. Instead of buying the libraries, let's just help pay for the app that brings this to everybody else. Then we have it.
I got to tell you, I mean, it's an impressive, just upstart.
I found the site or one of the pages for them the other day, and it showed like the 25 different sports.
Yeah.
You know, it's laid out.
Well, if you go through their website at flowsports.tv, and that's what Brian and I right now are just kind of scrolling through it. I mean, they've got an established team, which, judging from this staff photo here, that's about 100 people. Golly day. And they're, all of them, just judging from the commentaries, software development, VPs, these guys have it together. This isn't just some fly-by-night. So I'm extremely impressed. And with Flow Slam, the way it is now, you know, hey, I'm good for $20 a month to be able to access all that good quality wrestling. Plus, it gives me a new vantage point to talk about here. I mean, Evolve is something that honestly we really missed the boat on, but it's been around for so long now. It's, of course, it's never too late, but at the same time, I mean, it's good to have an access point.
Right. Well, for me, the problem with Evolve so far is you could get it on Fight.
Yep.
But you would have to pay,
wasn't it $20?
Yeah,
$20 or $30.
Right. And no offense, but I'm already dishing out so much money for this and that and this, and I don't really have the money to dish out for Evolve. But this gives you more bang for the buck, and I think it's definitely worth the investment. But now that we have Stan doing it, Stan can be there, Evolve and Shine.
You still with us, buddy?
Yeah.
I heard you just say hello, so I thought we had lost you. So just looking through, there is a master list available on their site, and he is actively communicating with different wrestling fans as well. You got the first 10 Shine shows, and then Shine 35 through 38. You've got Evolve 1 and then 68 through 71. And that's also, in addition to that, you have Full Impact Pro, the best of CM Punk Volume 1. So if you wanted to see CM Punk in his indie wrestling, which is almost legendary if you've ever heard about his matches with Chris Hero. There's also PWX, Premier Wrestling Experience, and Beyond Wrestling, which is out of the Midwest, that just announced their partnership as well. There again, just looking at the company and looking at what they're bringing to the table, it's pretty damn impressive.
What's his name? Who owns it?
The gentleman who has been the contact point, his name is Jeremy Botter.
Well, Jeremy Botter, come on to Corner, and let's talk about how you did it. How you did it. How can you do this? What kind of background do you have? Let's hey, come on, talk about it.
Absolutely. I did actually send off a contact piece to him to see if we could go ahead and get him on there. I know that he has got to be ridiculously busy right now, but it's going to be
Our show doesn't take long.
What's that?
Our show doesn't take long.
No. We can have it done pretty quick for him. in and out before he knows it. Wait, what? Anyway, so this past week was Hell in a Cell. While we weren't able to do our normal shenanigans and simulcast, the event did, of course, take place. And with looking at some of the happenings there, you have to take a look at a couple of notables, which is the Hell in a Cell match between Charlotte and Sasha Banks, which, yet again, delivered in a big, big way. It may have actually eclipsed some of their previous work.
No, I don't know about that.
I was, first off, the way they started. It was like watching two of the best heavyweights you know. Just hard at it, there wasn't a lot of posing. There wasn't a lot of preening. It was a knockdown, drag-out fight. And Charlotte took it straight to Sasha right off the bat. Keep going through the matchup, you see Charlotte fight her way back into this match, which was great. Although I thought the whole stretchering out was a little bit much. If you've got a bad back and now maybe a broken leg or broken neck, I don't know that you'd be able to, realistically speaking, mount a comeback that grandiose. But I guess we're splitting hairs. If you look at the match overall, I was really impressed with what those two girls brought to the table. And yet again, I mean, and maybe I'm just alone in this, I get the feeling from the look on Brian's face that maybe I'm alone in just saying that I think that it may have eclipsed their previous work.
Yeah, I don't think it eclipsed their first one. I think it was very solid. You didn't really see a lot of craziness going on.
Right.
So, again, for a first go at it, I think it was solid. But the problem is, it's like we've discussed in the past. Where do you go from here?
Inferno match? Set yourself on fire! Maybe.
To me,
an Iron Woman match? Oh, they've already done that.
Yeah.
A battle over Niagara Falls.
The bar's
must have a cage.
The bar's been set so high.
Loser goes over in a barrel.
Hasn't somebody done that?
I think probably.
The bar's been set so high from all the matches leading up to this.
Yeah.
I wanted to see something. Nobody had to fall off the cage, but they could have climbed up the cage.
Well, they did.
Top.
They started to go.
Got all the way up on top.
Oh,
Dude, you could have.
It would have been a new Mick Foley moment.
Yeah, a little blood.
I was surprised that we didn't have blood in that match. With the impact of what they were doing to each other, it made a lot more sense to me if one of them would have been bleeding.
Well,
not to have bloodlust out there, but
I made a comment on all of them. We had 3 Hell in a Cell matches, and none of them had blood.
Well, no, 2 of them had arm cuts.
yeah, they got away with it by having a laceration on the arm.
Okay, we had 3
Welcome to the new WWE.
2 of them had boo-boos.
Welcome to the new WWE.
Rob said they had boo-boos.
This is the millennials version of WWE.
Well, but in those other 2 matches, I thought Rusev and Roman Reigns was actually
they're going to add
good.
the blood in post-production?
That's where they grade the screen out first. What's that liquid? I don't know. Just fast forward.
I mean, again, I guess I put my expectations too high. I was expecting something so over the top with them too.
With what we've seen from WWE and Hell in the Cell in general, before you even get to just Sasha Banks and Charlotte, you're already expecting somebody to go through a table or go off the cage or whatever. So then you think of these 2 that have done just everything, including a Firebird splash from the top rope outside the ring the last time they were on Raw. So we've seen everything that there is that these 2 ladies can do. Yeah, I mean, the natural progression is, okay, well, someone's going through a table. That happened. And then the next thing would be someone's going off the cage. Well, kind of happened, I guess, but not off the top. I mean,
again, I don't need to see off the top. I just want them to go up there and give the look. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody's about to go. Because eventually you're going to be like, Oh no, that's too much. Yeah, that's too much. But there's still that taste.
I mean,
they're so good right now. I got it because back in the old days,
right?
Look at Piper and Valentine.
Yeah.
What did it finally take for them?
I mean, that dog collar match was ridiculous.
Dog collar match. Somebody lost an eardrum.
Now, in this case, because they could do it, if they did a dog collar match between Banks and Flair,
no, I don't.
Don't you think in today's society they would be like, that's degrading?
No, I don't think so.
We have such a PC world now. I mean,
yeah, but nobody's done a dog collar match since because again, it screwed them up so bad. God. I think literally it blew Piper's ear.
Rob, can you think of any other time that there was a dog collar match after that?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, the Russians had some. I mean, you had some with Ivan and Nikita and the Road Warriors.
Yeah, but I think those were at the wrist.
Yeah, those were chain matches.
The actual. I think there's only been maybe one or two.
Well, the thing is, like, I've never seen a dog collar match inside a cage like that one was.
Yeah, and that one. I mean he had the chain wrapped around his face and everything.
What? I mean, were there not piranhas at ringside and like stepped out of? But
that's what they can do. Wrestle on a moat.
Well, I want to say back in the 80s, somebody did some stupid match like that where they fought on the beach and then they swam to a little island, and that's because back in the 80s they were coming up with all types of crazy stuff.
Wasn't it Bash at the Beach where Savage backdropped Flair into the ocean?
I think it was.
Well, I also think that the WWE's way of getting away from the high spots was giving us 3 Hell in the Cell matches instead of 1. I think that's their way of like, hey, maybe if we give them 3,
they won't pay attention. You won't notice. Yeah.
Keep them guessing of, hey, well, this is what's going to happen, or we're going to get this. Because, I mean, if you think about all the matches that happened, did any of them realize? Like, if you took the Hell in the Cell away from the Sasha Banks match, would it still have been a great match?
Oh yeah.
I think it would have been better, maybe.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Then you take it to Rusev and Roman Reigns. If you take that match outside the cage, what is different than any other match that we've seen them with? Except the fact that Roman Reigns got his butt whipped for the first God Hall out of the match. And then all of a sudden he had a Hulk Hogan moment where he turned around and was like, boom, pinned you.
That was some intense brutality from Rusev to Roman Reigns. I mean, he was not giving him a break at all.
But maybe if he had just destroyed, just bled Roman, my appetite would have been at the first match. You know what I'm saying? But it was just
if anybody would have gotten away with it, it would have been either Reigns and Rusev or Rollins and Owens. Which there's another example. I was extremely disappointed with Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. I did not think that match was going to be that bad. I really didn't. I don't understand. Maybe they don't have a good chemistry together in the ring, which is odd because they work together a lot in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but
I think the problem is Kevin Owens is a spot filler.
Ooh.
And they're trying to figure out what.
Ouch.
And I'm not saying that
and
Kevin
the gloves
Owens,
come off.
I don't think Kevin Owens' talent deserves that label, but I think Kevin Owens right now is stuck in the same storylines that they had for Finn Balor.
Oh.
And then they're like, all right, how do we do this? That's when they had, let's bring in Jericho. It's the typical talent gets hurt and the WWE the wall and see what sticks. I mean, I think Kevin Owens is an awesome athlete, and I love his matches. It's just that wasn't a Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins capable match.
That's a moonwalk like Michael Jackson. Backpedaling so much.
Rob, I don't know if you're aware, but he just said you were backpedaling.
Like Michael Jackson.
Backpedaling. I was
a moonwalk. Hello, Kevin Owens. Even though he's a bitch. Thriller. Where do zombies come from?
Brian's doing a Thriller dance over here. Thanks, Rob.
I mean, I personally think that Kevin Owens as champ is great. If he was in a different thing than Owens.
All right, so let me ask you this.
I'd like to see him and Jericho go at it.
Well, let me ask you this. how would you like Owens versus Reigns at Roadblock?
Ugh.
Well, I think if that's the case, then Owens becomes the U.S. champ again.
Huh.
Well, it's supposed to be champion.
Dun, dun, dun.
At Roadblock, the review for Raw. Some idiot has already announced it.
And here we go. If you go to lordsofpain.net, there is it says more on Reigns versus Kevin Owens at Roadblock. It says, as noted, WWE Universal Champion Kevin Owens versus WWE United States Champion Roman Reigns has been announced by the PPG Paints Arena for the December 18th WWE Roadblock End of the Line pay-per-view from Pittsburgh.
Now, I do like that title. End of the line.
End of the line.
Maybe that means Roman Reigns is going bye-bye.
And the hate for Reigns continues.
So, but that must mean that it'll turn into Rollins versus Jericho.
And so Rollins takes a backseat to Seth, not to Seth, but to Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens.
How do you build it? How do you build Rollins versus Reigns?
Yeah, they already started it. This whole they already started doing the thing this past Monday, where Reigns comes out there and says he's got an empty shoulder and he wants to. I mean, look, I like Roman Reigns, but I have to agree with you guys that in the mid card is where he's at his best.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the crowd reaction where it needs to be. Will it ever be at a main event level? I don't think so within the next few years. If he sticks it out, maybe going forward. But right now, he's not the guy. And I understand that he still should be, and this is true of all of them, should still be wanting to be the top guy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same point, with what Kevin Owens is doing right now as a talent, they need to be feeding him and kind of pushing the U.S. title, not necessarily to the side, but just keeping it at the mid-level on the card.
Well, I look at it like this. If you were to take the top 6 guys on Raw, and so these top 6 guys are main events, and 7 through 12 are your U.S. title bracket, there's nothing wrong with being number 7
Right.
and being U.S. champ.
Well,
And there's nothing wrong with being good at it.
right.
But we should not be force-fed number 7 to number 1 if he's not a number 1.
And the thing is, that's December. So that means we've got, December 18th.
Weeks.
So we've got 6 weeks
Yeah.
of the buildup of Reigns versus Owens.
Well, you'll probably see a couple of tag team matches.
What? Not on Raw? No. Teddy Long's in the house. Hold on a minute, play.
Oh, you'll see some 6-man matches, and you'll see
Yeah.
some, booty on a pole match or something. I mean, it's just
Did you just say booty on a pole match?
it's
The
just
truth
He
shows
said,
it.
he said it. Booty on a pole match.
Booty-os.
All
I
right.
mean, here's my problem with this is, like you all kind of said, but you have so much talent. So much talent in the WWE. So many cool storylines to go for that Universal title. To differentiate your Universal title from your World title. You have so many different ways you could go, and we're going to be force-fed Roman Reigns again for another 3 months.
Yeah, I
Hashtag who cares?
mean, I hope they don't give him the title, even though you're probably going to get a little bit of a feud out of it. I just hope they don't give him the title.
I mean, I would much rather see the best friends in the world have their little thing and go at it for the next 3 months and have it end with Jericho beating Owens and getting his last push. Then you could bring somebody out like Rollins, or you could bring out Reigns and say, you know what? I never got my fair due or something. But with all the talent sitting back there, good Lord.
Yeah, but don't forget who's waiting in the wings.
I mean, Finn Balor's going to be back soon.
Everybody at TNA.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
I don't think there's anybody on that roster that would ever climb up that high.
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, Eddie
Moose
Edwards
maybe.
could do it. Moose. I think Vince McMahon loves Moose.
Yeah. It wouldn't be
we
Eddie
gotta sign
Edwards.
this guy. We gotta
Eddie's
put
too
him in our main
small.
event.
Eddie's too small to be.
Lashley. They'd bring Lashley back and put him in the main event.
No, I don't think Lashley will come back. Because then Lashley would actually have to work. It wouldn't be no more of this running over
Awkward.
X division.
Yeah, the only belt he hasn't held in TNA was Knockout and all that. That could work. That could work.
I'm shocked he didn't get that one.
I know.
These are my belts. All of them.
I mean, I would much rather see Reigns. I mean, not Reigns. Oh, good God.
Oh, there you go. If the truth comes out, Rob wants to see Reigns.
No, Stan, you're the only one on this podcast that has said, I like Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that is
I
true.
love his t-shirts and all his figures.
Yeah.
You do that every day when you get to work. You get out of the car, go, ooh, it's hot.
Something like that.
What? I mean, could you imagine just Owens fighting Jericho or whatever, and then all of a sudden everything goes black, and here comes the demon.
That would be awesome.
Oh, hold up, I ain't done.
Well, I think he'll come back and he'll be the bad guy because the easiest thing to do is I never
Put him
lost
with
that
the club.
title.
Yeah.
That's my title. I never lost it.
I'd say put him with the club, like Stan said.
Well, I think it's coming. I think that's probably what they got in mind for him.
I don't know. Apparently, yet again, the club comes out there. It has their Halloween trick or street fight match.
Yeah, but again, without Balor, you got nothing to do with them. Because you're gonna get New Day over the record.
Yeah.
So you might as well forget your tag team division until you hit the day, and then you ramp your tag team division back up.
Who should be pissed? Is the people in the back that carve all those damn pumpkins.
London and
he said the people carving all this damn.
Oh yeah. But London and
Kendrick
ought to be pissed at it because they've pretty much been forgotten.
Hey, speaking of Kendrick, his match with T.J. Perkins on Hell in a Cell wasn't bad. I don't understand the storyline there because the idea was
shot, Stan.
But it's been his last shot every single week.
This is it for him.
He's retiring.
Well, I think what they did is they took the CWC and to showcase the cruiserweights.
Right.
With the whole premise being eventually we're going to start a new show, which they're about to.
Right. 205 Live is what it's called.
Right. But they weren't quite ready for it.
Another show with live in the title, just to keep you moving.
But they weren't quite ready to get it off the ground.
So they put it to Raw to see what would happen.
Right, because now if you missed the Cruiserweight Classic, we need to drum up interest in this show. So let's put them on TV, let's give them 2 matches, and then go from, eventually put them.
Now, when we get to 205 Live, when it airs, and that's on Tuesdays after SmackDown.
Another damn.
Mauro Ranallo is supposed to be doing color commentary with Corey Graves.
Is it going to be live?
I mean, it's in the title, 205 Live. So,
how are they going to put it on?
I don't know. Well, I mean, Corey Graves will be on the road wherever he's at. So Graves will come to Ranallo. I assume what they'll do is they'll do they'll do SmackDown and then they'll have the cruiserweights. So you'll have a dead crowd because they just went through 2 hours of wrestling.
I don't think it'll be dead. Because now you can showcase some of these guys more. Cedric Alexander.
And how funny is that? They go from Raw to basically SmackDown. Only the network edition of it. And even Corey Graves goes.
But again, Cedric Alexander, you can unleash him. T.J. Perkins, Tony Nese. Some of these guys you can unleash. They still have others that they haven't even brought back yet.
Hey, I think you could open up the doors to a Cruiserweight Tag Title division. If you're going to have your own show and your own roster, why not?
Hey, I'm forgetting what's his name.
Of course, they'll just be the blue version of the Cruiserweight title. or
Well,
the magenta.
I think they'll probably move them
color.
all over there, or else we're going to get Kendrick versus Perkins for the 50th time.
You got to let me win.
50 days, yeah.
It's my last chance. You got to let me win.
Talk about a feud that just had nothing behind it.
Hey, I'm getting back to to Shine that happened this past weekend. Rachel Ellering is in the ring taking on I don't remember the girl who she took on, but she's in control. She's getting ready to go to a victory. Tessa Blanchard comes out and distracts her. Rachel loses. So later on in the evening, Tessa's in the ring, well in control. Everything's well in hand. Out comes Rachel Ellering, puts on Tessa's coat, and struts around and distracts her. So the feud that will never end has continued now into Shine.
That it's actually interesting that you have this major feud going on.
Yep. And it's crossing promotions.
Yeah, and it crosses. Kind of like the Young Bucks. They cross.
Too sweet, bro.
I just figured I'd get them out there.
So with all that, I mean, with everything that's happening right now, the next pay-per-view is Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
And the main event, most likely, is going to be Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. Rob, do you think they can take WrestleMania 20 and put it in the rearview mirror and actually have a better match?
No, I say this match either doesn't start or this match has a non-finish.
As a non-finish?
Mm-hmm.
So
Dude,
you guys are sticking with...
I mean,
Go ahead.
they're building it up. They're building it up, but I just don't see why would you waste this caliber of match. Not to say it's Survivor Series, it's just, I mean, I just don't see it being it. But I also say they have to be careful because, I mean, Brock is capable of hurting old Goldberg. Because this isn't the same Brock, you know what I mean?
No, I mean, if Brock wants to make an example out of Bill Goldberg, he'll do it. It's not a question of can he, it's will he.
Well, I think that's probably the other thing about this is Brock's been going strong for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And there's no telling how long Goldberg's been training.
Yep.
So he's probably not in ring shape.
Nope. Well, we saw the scuffle between him and Rusev on Monday. A lot of people were making fun of Goldberg for not being able to go toe-to-toe. But just like to your point, here's a guy that hasn't been in the ring for almost 10 years. It still looks like he's in great shape. He was still able to hoist up Rusev without much issue, and he still pulled off, by the way, kudos to Rob Stradamus for calling the spear on Paul Heyman. But, I mean, he was still able to pull that off and get the crowd reaction. The problem was the week prior in Minneapolis, Brock Lesnar country, where they tried to force the crowd to boo Brock Lesnar and cheer Goldberg. To me, that just screamed WrestleMania 20 all over again. I mean, all I could see was, hold on, we got a train wreck in progress. And poor Paul Heyman, he's just like, I quit. He drops the mic and out they go. I mean, it was a scary moment, and it really did make me think maybe they're not going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, but you can't. Go ahead, Rob.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No.
You want to tell Rob to go ahead since you're in charge?
Go ahead, Rob.
Nope.
Come on, buddy.
Just Rob. We're waiting on you.
Come on, man. Don't do this.
No, I mean, I think it's going to be, if anything, if it's a non-finish, it's a non-finish. But if they're going to have a finish, I say Brock Lesnar takes Goldberg, and then WrestleMania becomes Goldberg's revenge. You know, it's the rubber match where Goldberg ends it all.
So that's actually a good point. I'm glad you worded it that way. What if, with what Lesnar does, he bloodies Goldberg, beats him senseless, and just like your point, he basically announces, you know, I want my revenge, and I'm going to get it at WrestleMania. Wow, Rob, I like that. That's a good layout.
I mean, I don't see them putting title on Brock because of Brock. And Brock is now gone to the, you know, he's not in that avenue per se. But anyway, I'll shut up now and let Brian talk.
No, we were trying to let you get your stuff in, man. You know, like they do on the indies. Got to make sure it's getting done. So, I really like the idea.
So is a good guy in China. I mean, in Japan.
What's that?
You said so, and I said so is a great guy in Japan.
Rob is a world-traveled kind of guy, so if anybody's going to know, it's going to be you.
Wait, what's he know?
He knows.
So,
but Rob was just
word for stupid. It's called baka.
learning. We're learning things on Corner to Corner this evening.
Can you say baka?
Wasn't that a Street Fighter?
Blanca.
Oh, that's Blanca.
Blanca, yeah.
Willy Wonka.
No. Good day, sir. You get nothing. Oh, my goodness. So, okay. Ring of Honor has an event coming up now on December 2nd. Now, they've been building up to this. Former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Jax Dane has debuted in Ring of Honor, and he is on the road to Final Battle, December 2nd. Cody Rhodes will be at Final Battle. Adam Cole defending the title against the winner of the Road to Final Battle tournament. If I am correct on that, I believe that's what they're actually going for. Cody Rhodes has now been on Evolve, TNA, upcoming with Ring of Honor. He's worked multiple independent shows throughout the East and West Coast. The $1 million question here is, does he go back to WWE, or does he continue to be basically a journeyman at this point, just to prove that he's better than what they said he is?
Well, to me, unless you're going to put me in the spot where I should be, I'm not going back. Why should I go back? Who just had the interview not too long ago on the reason why they didn't go to WWE? You got a better work schedule? You make more money? Because you're not. Somebody just said it last week or something.
I know that there's a lot of guys out there that are working indies rather than going to the big time, and their goal was, just to your point, work schedule. That was why Christian, when he was in TNA, was there for as long as he was, because the work schedule was so much easier and so much more preferred that he was getting paid top dollar. At least at that time, they were making their paychecks.
Well, and the other thing is, too, normally they don't have to pay for their flight and hotel.
Right.
So that's less money they have to put out. Whereas the WWE, you pay for your travel.
Now, you get reimbursed at different points, but you also are able to handle a little bit more of the expense because you're making more upfront with the appearance fee. Mm-hmm. Even a guy like Ryback, who's making money hand over fist. Goodness. Hey, he's getting paid.
Smeltzer and Ryback in one show. By Stan.
Well, I mean, hey, I think that the guy himself is out there. I mean, hey, have you not been following Conversations with the Big Guy?
No. I don't follow Conversation with the Big Guy. I don't follow Conversation with the parent.
I haven't listened to anyone except for the first show, but I mean, just judging from the first episode, the guy's clearly off his rocker. At the same time, I mean, you can't forget the fact that I do. Feed me more.
Too many jokes.
You know, you should be nicer to me. You really should.
Oh, I am being nicer. You're setting up so many spikes. I'm just like, be nice. Shut up.
Let's go. Looks like we got to hour 2 before Stan Slam started.
All right, so here's a question I'm gonna pose to you both.
Question.
So the WWE likes to put out these little best of videos, or top 5 or whatever. And they recently did one for the toughest tag team.
Toughest, not best, but toughest. Got it.
And if I remember them correctly, in no particular order, it was the APA.
Yep.
The Brothers of Destruction.
Okay.
That's Undertaker and Kane. The Steiner Brothers, Road Warriors, and the Head Drinkers. And I don't think I missed anybody. The Dudleys. I'm sorry. The Dudleys were in there. There were 6. The Dudleys were in there. So,
that's a pretty tough
after
list.
naming that, who do y'all think's the toughest?
Oh, my God. That's a tough list.
And we're not talking title.
No. You're talking just
the
fighter, toughest guys to go.
If they're legitimately as tough as they appear,
which
one of those are the toughest?
The temptation on my end is to say the Road Warriors, but remembering what Bubba and Devon went through in ECW, flaming tables and all of that, I would have to give it to the Dudleys. I mean, it's not to say that, because God knows the Samoans will kill you. You got, these other teams, they're all legitimate.
Which
frightening teams? You said the Head Shrinkers.
Yeah, the ones without Captain Luke.
Oh, that would have been Alpha and Sika.
The Wild Samoans.
I see that. That's a little different.
I'm doing this from memory.
The Wild Samoans. I mean, man. I would be still tempted to give it to the Dudleys simply because of what they put their bodies through in more of the modern era. But people I would never want to cross like in a dark alley. I mean, you might have to say the Wild Samoans because they might make you regret it afterwards. What do you think, Rob?
Warriors.
What about Demolitions?
No.
I mean, no.
No?
No, Demolition doesn't version of the Road Warriors.
Yeah, Demolition doesn't come close.
I mean, Bill Eadie and Barry Darsow individually are two really, really tough guys. They've been in the industry for a long, long time.
The teams you could think of are the Blackjacks, the original Blackjacks.
Yeah.
And then you got Dusty Rhodes and Dirty Dick Murdoch.
Uh-huh.
Those are some tag teams that would rather just, punch in the face than do anything. And the reason I say the Road Warriors, not because one reason because I'm a fan, but another is like you hear the stories and you read the articles on how they used to take turns when they would throw people out of the bar. They would judge the distance.
Yeah.
It wasn't, hey, let's just go to your car, sir. No, we're going to throw you to the street. And if you touch the grass, we're going to do it again.
Well, I mean, but you also think of guys like the Steiners, who legitimately were world-class athletes.
Yeah, but to me, I don't think
before the Juice.
Yeah, to me,
before the Juice, yeah.
To me, I don't think they get that edge until later.
Right.
Because to me, before
Scott
Juice,
Steiner for sure, because Scott was a lot more laid back and calm for what you saw on television. Now, what he did off screen, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To me, they're two different tag teams. Once the Juice kicks in, there's a level of.
But Rick Steiner was always brutal.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Always.
He was into suplexes.
Yeah.
They're always nasty. But Scott was finesse.
Well, what about the Gangstas? New Jack and Mustafa. Now, I mean, granted, we didn't see a lot of them.
Yeah, but now, mind you, this list is WWE.
Okay, right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just kind of broadening it out.
Because I would include the Russians.
Yeah. I mean, actually, Eddie's the one that texted me with, what about Demolition? Hello, Eddie, by the way. He is listening. He's listening.
Eddie.
And he is actually sitting outside the hospital. So it looks like he's spending some time with his dad. Eddie, we're thinking of you, buddy, and just want to let you know that. Anyway, but Eddie actually texted us about Demolition. He said, what about them? And I happen to agree with that simply because of the two individual guys, Barry Darsow and Bill Eadie.
Yeah, but maybe at the time, there was no other tough competition.
Could have been.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, because I would even included the Andersons.
Oh, absolutely.
Ole and Arn or Ole and Gene.
Well, Ole and or Arn and Tully.
Well, I wouldn't have put Ole or Arn and Tully. I mean, they were good, but again, there's a little finesse.
Okay.
Whereas the other combinations are just straight
The Assassins.
maulers. I mean, look at what Arn and Ole would do. They break your arm just to break your arm.
Who would you individually, since we're just going through the toughest, I like this topic. We could do this all day. Toughest individual performer.
Individual? Rob, you go first?
No.
He's like, nope. And before we go too far, Eddie, thank you. Steve Williams and Terry Gordy.
Were they mentioned?
Yeah, they were NWA and WCW.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember if they were in that list. I don't remember
If they weren't, they should have been, because legitimately those two were badasses.
Again, I'm doing this for memory here, so my memory is shot.
I remember them beating the tar out of the Steiners on WCW. Like, that was the team that the Steiners could never get past.
Well, they were big over in Japan, too. They would smack the crap out of somebody in the crowd just to smack the crap out of somebody in the crowd.
Well, I mean, Stan Hansen.
You're saying like legitimate, tough guy.
Right.
You gotta put Terry Gordy on that list.
Yep.
You know, I mean, because he was the one that, I mean, you hear the stories of Michael Hayes or whatever. They're like, oh, Michael Hayes, you know, he'd rile him up and let Terry take him out.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you got Dick Murdoch. You got.
He was, 13 years old?
He was like 16 years old, world champ. I mean, the guy was pretty ridiculous back in his age.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was a legitimate dude. Like, Stan Hansen, you know, back in the day. You don't want those guys to get in the ring with you.
All right, but here we go, Rob. Single toughest. Just straight up mauler.
It's, if you're hearing silence, guys, it's just contemplating, because there's so many different guys. You know, which guy do you pick out? Is it the guy that got beat down the most with steel chairs? Is it the guy that went through Dynamite and TNT matches? Is it the guy that was able to just stretch his career over decades?
No, I'm talking like the guy that you wanted in the dark alley. Not the guy who can take the chairs. The guy that's going to throw the chairs.
I would take
that's going to break a net.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I would say Terry Gordy.
Wow. I think that's a good pick.
I mean, I started thinking about Abdullah the Butcher, but then I was like, nah, Terry Gordy.
I mean, if we're talking in the back alley, I'm going to agree with Eddie. Eddie just sent it over to me, and I think that's the best idea yet. Bruiser Brody. If we're talking who do you want in the back alley with you? Yeah, well, I would say Bruiser Brody, but I'd also hope that I've got some distance to run in case he changes his mind and decides, I think I'll beat him up too.
Bruiser Brody was the type, he'd beat your ass, and then you'd be like, thank you, I'm sorry. I didn't
Thank you, can I have another?
I'm really sorry for acting the way I did.
It was completely my fault. I let you throw that beer at me, and I'm so sorry.
I'm really sorry my face hit the concrete.
Brian, what about you?
Well, Bruiser was high on the list, but to me it would be The Undertaker. Now I'm talking like Mean Mark
Callis, yeah.
to The Undertaker. That you know, not the guy we see today. I'm talking the guy you saw.
I mean, all the way up to the
day,
really. Yeah. You gotta respect everything he did. I mean, from a WWE standpoint, if we're just keeping it WWE, I say yeah.
Because again, you hear the stories about him.
Yeah,
he was not messed with.
No, he was the locker room leader there. He was the
true enforcer,
right,
for 20 years in the WWE.
I mean, he was the judge of Wrestler's Court. Every one of them says it. When Michaels, the going story for Michaels, when his last match at WrestleMania 14, everybody thinks his career's done. The story was he wasn't going to put Steve Austin over. He wasn't going to do it. He was going to try to pull his own screw job. Taker pulls him aside before the match, grabs him by the throat. You're not going to do this, is basically what he says to him. You're going to go out there and do business. And that's why we see Shawn Michaels go out there and put Steve Austin over like $1 million. Because, I mean, The Undertaker put the fear of God in him before he comes out.
Because, again, a lot of people are going to remember what Brock did to him.
Yeah.
But you take Brock to Mean Mark / early Undertaker, or even American Badass Undertaker, it's a different story. He doesn't get suplexed like that. I think they literally both fall flat
Well,
on the mat for beating the tar out of each
When
other.
Brock and Taker were going at it in 2003, where he was Big Evil, I think that was some of his best work wrestling-wise, The Undertaker. But no, Lesnar wasn't throwing him around like that. It was a brawl, and they were bleeding each other like it was no tomorrow.
But Brody's he gives nightmares.
I
So
was.
do you,
What's that?
so do you think that like when the Undertaker does show up to events, do you think when he shows up, it's kind of like when your parents have been gone for a while, and then the kids come up and want to rat out everything somebody's done? You know, Mark shows up to the arena and somebody comes up, God, thank God you're here. So and so has been acting like an ass for the last month and a half.
Yeah, I would venture to say though it was probably in the WWE's best interest that they had a cartoon era that he was a part of. Because
This just in.
was that
Breaking news from WrestlingNews.co. Chris Jericho and Sin Cara get into a backstage fight on the WWE European Tour. What's this, like the fifth one that Jericho's done overseas?
Cars had a couple.
Here backstage, WWE fight took place overseas involving repeat offender. I have doubts on if he has let it work in his favor. Okay. Let's see here. So one person told us that Jericho seemed to have got the better of the fight. Both Jericho and Sin Cara are legit tough guys in real life. It is not the first time that both men have been involved in backstage altercations. Sin Cara was involved in a backstage fight with Simon Gotch prior to a SmackDown taping a couple months ago. And, of course, Jericho got into an altercation with Brock Lesnar after SummerSlam. It's unclear if WWE will discipline both men or who started the fight.
Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, just after Lesnar and Orton. He got in Lesnar's face after the match between Lesnar and Orton because of the condition that Orton was in. And he was personally upset because of the condition that Orton was.
Yeah, but I think in that case, because again, you can't call somebody getting in somebody's face a fight. I think that's
more of a
Brock being like,
confrontation. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you throw the first punch, and then if you don't outrun me, you're done. And Jericho knew it.
Oh yeah.
And that's why he got in his face, because he knew it. As long as I don't poke the bear, bear's going to sit there.
All right, now Jericho posted on Instagram, Brian, I mean, it's not the clearest of pictures, but that looks like a pretty good shiner he's got
hit
there.
the play button.
All right, well, let's hit the play and see. It's not a tablet, buddy. I got to actually click the mouse.
You do.
All right, Jericho.
All right, here we are in Glasgow.
Yeah, that's a black eye.
I'm about ready to watch The Walking Dead, last week's episode.
Okay, so I don't really care what you got to say there, buddy. Yeah, he's got a black eye.
Yeah, but I mean, if you catch Sin Cara with the mask on, wouldn't you just try and turn the mask?
Well, I
so
mean,
he can't see.
But this isn't Mystico, the guy that was hell bent on keeping kayfabe. This is what is it, Hunico, whatever his name was,
Hunico.
Or Camacho, well, whoever he is. Anyway, he's a guy that used to wrestle without a mask anyway, so I don't think he's worried about it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if the mask is on, though, wouldn't you just like?
I mean, if you're Jericho, you've done it before.
Yeah, just take the mask and spin it on him, and then you probably got one or two shots before you can fix it. So let me ask you this. Because I've never witnessed an actual backstage fight. But do you think they just get like chairs and use the chair?
I think. Well,
or do they just kind of slug it out once or twice?
You remember what happened with Goldberg and Regal? And you remember we're like, from what we knew, it was just a tough match. It wasn't really anything that stood out.
The one where Regal hooked them, scratched them.
I mean, it wasn't
out wrestled them.
It wasn't really. I mean, it wasn't like a shoot. We didn't think, oh my God, he's killing them. No, I mean, we just saw it. That was a tough match, and that was kind of it. Going forward 2 months down the road, Regal gets sent packing because of the way he treated Goldberg in the ring. Well, at least that's the story anyway. We'll never really know unless Regal were ever to tell us. But the thing is, those are the kinds of things that I think happen. I think when they get into these scuffles or fights, it's closed fist. It's no nonsense.
But
So do you think that WWE security personnel is right there to pull them apart like they do on
Oh
TV?
no.
I mean, I think if it really gets,
everybody's like hitting back going, Sin Cara's been an ass. Let him get it.
I think you might be right.
You know?
I think they kind of let it go because, I mean, if you're Charles Robinson, for example, are you going to jump between Braun Strowman and the Big Show if they start throwing hands?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're Kevin Owens and you're beside Jericho, you're gonna be like,
yeah, let
Sin Cara deserved it.
Right.
We'll just wait until Sin Cara gets the upper hand.
I mean, Sin Cara, the guy that plays
We told
Sin
him
Cara,
not to get the deluxe package rental car, son of a bitch.
I mean, what could aside from maybe a stiff punch or move, and unless they've got like the Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett paradigm going on, what do they really have to fight about? You're getting paid, I'm getting paid. You lose tomorrow, I lose today, whatever.
Yeah, but it's just like us. Sometimes we have little.
We never have disagreements.
That's not true. We have disagreements all the time.
Well, apparently that's not true. Okay, well, boy, is my face red.
Well, most of them are directed your way anyway.
Wow.
I mean, take the post the other day when we were talking. What were we talking about, Rob? Text. Yeah.
I couldn't keep track of the text.
Stan couldn't keep track of all the. He said he missed 22 texts or something, and then Rob said something about the missed text, and Stan's like, the DC game?
No, I thought.
And I'm like,
what I was asking was about the DC game because we had been talking
that's not
back and forth about it.
You need to go back to English then. Because you were like,
wouldn't be the first
you were
time
asking a question because there's a question mark.
Right.
You know?
Oh, that's how we know it's a question. There's a question mark. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And you should have seen
education
you should have seen the first text I was going to send you, but I was like, that's probably going to piss him off. I don't feel like dealing with it.
I get it, because I'm the prima donna, right? It's not you or Rob. You or Rob never get butt hurt. It's always me, right? Okay, cool.
I'm just saying it probably would have butt hurt you. But I said, no, let's be the grown up here.
See?
And back it up.
It's like I said. Now, maybe, possibly, in another time, could have been.
You have talked to Rob and called me all types of foul names.
No, I call those directly to your face. I don't have any problem with that.
It's kind of like Jericho and Brock. What did you say, Jericho? Oh, nothing.
We're buddies. Man.
Yeah,
cool.
That's probably what happened. Brock was probably asleep in the locker room, and Jericho was all up in his face. You mother, I will get you. Brother opens his eyes. Jericho. Nope.
Rob, do you believe any of this nonsense? Have we ever had disagreements? Wow. It's dead silent. Cricket. Rob's like, I'm not getting in this.
It's a lovely day.
Thanks, buddy. Way to be there for me.
We have had...
look,
we haven't had
a whole bunch of Indians at the end of that hill.
We have had little disagreements.
We've had
disagreements. It's been 20-some years.
I mean, there was the incident where, you wanted to make sure that we knew how to sell appropriately, so you tried to break my ankles.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
You tried to break my ankles.
It's not your ankles I was trying to break.
Well, unfortunately, your figure four was sloppy. It was my ankles.
No, my figure four is not sloppy. I can hook a figure four.
Oh, I know. Only it was on my ankles.
I know. Well, the problem is that's the only way to get you to say I give is to actually put it on you.
So, in other wrestling news, do you think they're going to actually have Bayley job to Nia Jax?
Yes.
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, that's where we're headed. Rob was getting uncomfortable with the figure four conversation. But, yeah, I do think...
I'm just trying to make sure that Sharon doesn't have to beat y'all's asses.
No, she was laughing.
She was actually having a good time at my expense.
I mean, the chops, man,
those hurt.
Sometimes they were laid in there, buddy.
I remember the first day you got back from training, and you said, "I gotta show you what I learned how to do." Shh. And we're like,
"There's a form he signed, Stan." The statute of limitations are not up.
Been part of the money I handed over was there was a clause that I wasn't supposed to go do that.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience that
the caved-in chest would have indicated that someone was taught the appropriate way to do a chop, and it hurt like hell.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I had the way of just making it.
You do have
like
a ham hock of a
boom,
hand.
too.
That's true.
It was a boom behind
Yeah,
them things.
yeah. And I remember it because you're like, dude, I got to show you what I learned. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. So I'm thinking maybe it's collar and elbow, whatever. No, straight on. Just hold still. What? Pow! What the? And that was kind of all I could say because it literally took my breath away. It's one of those things you never forget. Rob, you remember those chops?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got the chops. They come out of nowhere.
Mike would take them. It's another one of our comrades.
Or let's not forget the fact that it didn't take Rob long, as the only non-smoker in the group, that when someone said, "Hey, I'm going out for a cigarette," Rob learned to go out with a cigarette. Because Rob knew whoever was not out there when somebody was getting a cigarette, that's who was getting a whipping when they came back in.
Yeah.
Because Brian would sit out there on his little stoop, and he'd sit out there and formulate a plan. And then he would look at Mike and go, "This is what we're going to do." Because I remember one time in the townhouse over there on the other side of town that I'm sitting there watching TV, and Mike and Brian come back in, and Mike's doing that whole, "Oh, look at the wall, look at the picture," and then BAM! Rob's feet are in the air, the couch is flying backwards, and
Yeah,
Brian's just standing there going, Brian's got that little giggle like,
Yeah, so, but that's what makes it scary because I am kind of dangerous. Because I did sign a little kind of like you're not supposed to show these to the marks.
Wait, what did you just call us? Oh, that's it. That's it. It's over.
Or-
Show's done.
That's why I keep y'all around. Y'all were there for my glory days.
or should we,
My glory day. Y'all were there for my glory day.
or should we talk about the aftermath when Brian took the chair shot in his living room?
Oh my God.
he wasn't expecting to take a chair shot in the living room.
Well, there's the plastic cookie sheet. Where
The Bubba Bomb that
Oh.
folded the accordion.
we've got one guy who's never recovered from that. He has a permanent hinge.
The power bomb out the pickup truck,
That hurt a lot.
or into the pickup truck, that hurt.
That also hurt. There's a DDT onto a tree stump, I seem to recall.
Yeah, it was crazy. And we
Oh
were-
yeah, the cookie sheet where I hit Brian or Brian hit me.
No,
And then-
the story as it goes, we had a plastic cookie sheet.
Because somebody hit somebody, then threw it, and then when
Yeah.
it got thrown backwards, it forked
Yeah,
stand
I
right
got-
between the eyes.
I got cut with the shard. Yeah.
So we weren't gonna blade, but what we were gonna do is try to do it hard way. So we've got these plastic cookie sheets that we bought from the Dollar Store. And by the way, this was a long time ago, galaxy far, far away.
20 years.
Yeah,
And we do not condone this stupidity on anybody.
And we didn't like, get a little gym mat and put it down. with some-
No, this was everywhere.
Yeah,
It didn't matter. But
But we had an unwritten rule that everybody had to go to work the next day.
exactly. The goal was not to hurt people. What we were like, well, if we're not going to blade, how do we do this? So we got the cookie sheets, and I'm getting ready to hit Rob. And I hit him once, doesn't break. Hit him twice, doesn't break. Cracks a little bit, but doesn't break. Rob's got a hard head. So finally, I just, bam, cracking it. It breaks right square in half. Beautiful shot. But Rob's cut, and of course me, being an idiot at the time, oh crap, Rob, are you okay? So as I'm doing that, I chuck one of the pieces of the cookie sheet behind me, and all we hear is, ugh! And we turn around and there's Brian, where he had gotten jabbed in the head by the flung piece of cookie sheet. All because I was worried about my friend. And then
And let's not talk about the hundreds of dollars. Let's not talk about the hundreds. Let's not talk about the hundreds of dollars of drywall that my dad still doesn't know.
what happened to it? Sheet upon sheet just
Yeah.
disappears from now.
the mysterious drywall tables that just
Yeah.
all of a sudden
He comes down there. He goes, "Son of a bitch! I thought I had 18 sheets of drywall, and I only have 2."
Then it
I don't
shows
know,
y'all
Dad.
how stupid we were. We would literally move the furniture out of a room. Just
an entire room. We emptied an
Right.
entire room just to
just to beat the tar out of each other.
Now, it's not us, okay? That should be a selling point to show how good we were to convince the new person in the group to empty out their master bedroom while their wife went away.
Well, we did
And
it
said,
on Glacier Street, too, in my house.
Hey.
Yep. We did it a couple times. Moved everything and then put it back.
But
I
you're
mean,
also
there's-
talking about the house where your toy collection outgrew its room, so then you switched.
Yeah.
Oh man, them were the days, boys.
Them were the days. God, that sucked, though.
I think we should do a
12
Legends
hours
Fest of our
going
own.
to Training, getting maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep. My head just ringing so bad, going back to work. Oh, they suck.
Man, oh man.
And
it
after
makes
you get dumped on it once or twice, you're like, I'm never again. I have no need to go back.
and
I was in the ring with the Bushwhackers and a couple other guys. Why do I have to
You
go
got
back?
bit
I'm
on the butt.
happy.
he tasted glory,
I did.
and it
Oh,
tasted
glory
him.
tasted him.
There's no 7 steps to the Bushwhackers. There's a punch, and that I'm there from a 70-year-old guy that I sold beautifully.
You did.
I
You
did.
did. Flailing backwards.
If we never find the video, if we never get the video, we should put it on the website.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm gonna have to. I will continue because I have asked before. I will continue to ask and see if we can get that on tape and get that transcribed to the website for all of our wonderful
That was
listeners to see.
that was a well done match. I was in the zone, kid.
You know, the only thing about that time is I wish we would have filmed it. All of our, because it was crazy, it was dumb. It's a wonder we didn't get ourselves killed, much less anything else. We're not kidding. There's one guy who has a permanent hinge in his diaphragm. Diaphragm? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, that really happened. It was stupid, but it definitely happened.
Yeah, and we know or knew what moves to put on people
Right.
and how to hook them. And when we say that, we were kind of like, okay, this is what's going to happen, and then it doesn't quite happen. There were 2 of us that were like, no, it's going to happen.
Towards the end, the power bombs were not voluntarily taken by me, but they were certainly done.
Yeah.
A
A
after a while,
submission. We put you in a submission.
Well, that's the
and-
reason, because you're the only one we could lift up.
well, and at the same time,
Now
though,
we would need help lifting you up. But
see, that's not cool, man.
Literally, you might get put in like the sharpshooter or something, and hooked in the sharpshooter, and it's like, are you gonna tap? No. Oh, Rob, you want to pop some popcorn? I'm not going nowhere, except just gonna sit back some.
I can remember the early times was all about that. Oh, you're not going to even up? Okay, cool. Here's a sleeper, and you're going to sit here. Or here's a sharpshooter. Here's a figure 4. Or what Mike was phenomenal with was the Taz mission. If you remember Taz, when he would hook this move, he would drop to his back, and he did it so quickly. To me, that's part of the reason why that move was so devastating. Our friend Mike was so good at it, he could slap it on you, and as you're falling backward with him, and at that point you don't have a choice because he wasn't necessarily a small guy, so you're falling, and if you don't, you're going to die, so you're going to fall. When you land, you're legitimately thinking to yourself, I think I just got killed by Taz, because it was effective. But every time when we first started doing it, because the time we first started to the end of it, definitive difference. At the end of it, we were all working together. But in the beginning,
I think
it was more of a fight.
In the beginning, it was a Donnybrook.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing it for some time before I went to training.
Oh, yeah.
And then after training, it was like, all right, fellas, let me show you. You know, because that's when we learned certain things that we didn't know prior.
Right.
Like if you got the wind knocked out of you, you literally got the wind knocked out of you. And they wouldn't stop. You just,
nope.
Yeah, you just sucked it up when you got a chance to breathe.
I mean, it's fun to kind of look at that because of how crazy it was, but it wasn't just months at a time. This was legitimately done for years.
Mm-hmm.
From age, 18 through 22, Rob?
Yes.
Probably
in that time frame.
I mean, they're literally like, I would get off work at 12 o'clock and go to Stan's house.
Yep.
And we would just start smacking each other around until his mom yelled downstairs.
Stop it!
And then we would stop, give her time to go back to sleep,
and then wake her up again. We'd go to Rob's, clear out his basement. We even had a room. We had the dungeon at Rob's house.
Our arena.
Yep. And your mom would yell at us too.
I don't remember her ever yelling.
No, it was always that she was afraid we're going to hurt ourselves. You guys are killing each other down there.
Yeah, that's the point.
No, her thing was
Rob on tap, Miss Hefner.
Said, look,
yes, he's
look
missing
at
a
those
tooth.
grown-ups out there fighting like kids.
I'm shocked we never got the cops called on us.
Especially in the front yard.
Yeah, we did it in the yard. Did it in the backyard.
Oh,
we did it at, in parking lots.
I would leave Rob's house after whatever marathon that we all went through and have a date. I didn't have time to shower or anything, so I would just be all tore up from the floor up, walking in. Hey, how's it going? Let's go to dinner. Looking like I just got run over by a Mack truck. Back when I had long, beautiful locks.
Long,
Did you mean your mullet?
I did. I never had a mullet.
Wrong.
Oh, I never had a mullet. That's a low
I
blow.
don't remember. I think one of your brothers did.
Now, my brother Chris, way back in the day, had a mullet.
But didn't Brian? Didn't he have one?
You mean Steve?
Or the skinny one?
Steve, yeah, the tall, skinny dude. Yeah.
No, not the tall one. The short one that. Big guy.
That's Chris. Yeah, he had.
I thought Chris was. Which one owns the pawn shop?
Chris was the pawn shop.
Nah, not him. How many brothers you got? Didn't you got another
He's
one?
got 4.
That's what I thought. Who's the? Not.
So there's Jack, who lives in California.
Yeah, it's not Jack.
TJ.
TJ.
No,
He was the younger brother. He's the skinny
TJ,
one, but now that he's in the
I
army,
know
he's
TJ. We used to throw
Mr.
TJ
Cock
around.
Diesel now. You don't touch him.
Yeah, TJ was in Japan. He'd be thrown in the third row.
He did try to hurricane Rob. It ultimately paid the price with stitches. You know what, Rob? I still have to thank you for taking one for the team there and going to get my mom while I tried to clean up the blood that was there.
Now, yeah, I want y'all to know this. I was brought into this shenanigans because y'all were doing it before me.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
You, Rob, and TJ had your own little cardboard belts.
We had the whole 9 going on.
Yeah.
And plus, there were friends of ours that we would bring in, beat them in, and then when we got bored with them, beat them out. Rob, how many people did we do that to? Because I think there's a pretty decent list.
Oh, I think it's 4 or 5. I think 5 or 6.
At least.
There was another guy.
Because it's
It
always
was one of
been-
y'all's friends.
We had the basis of us.
We had a fight
As-
club, pretty much, is what it was.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we had the basis of us as the 4.
Yep.
You know, for a while it was you, me, Mike, and Brian. And then we always had to try to bring in that 5th.
And it never lasted, no matter who it was. And there was Nick, there was Ashby, there was Wes.
Was there another guy? Wasn't there like a heavier guy that was into the computers?
Heavier guy.
I think he was only there like when I first started because I remember him when you were showing me like some of the stuff on the first few times I was going over your house, and you were showing me stuff on the computers like
TNM, yeah. My favorite wrestling simulator to this day.
There was another one of y'all's friends that was a little bit heavier that was over there.
Nathan Elmore.
Oh, yeah, and he didn't last very long. Yeah, he was a big kid.
Yeah.
Rob, do you remember? We're doing a whole lot of inside baseball, but what the hell? Do you remember we were on an ROTC trip and he decided that he was going to put boxing gloves on? And one of the Temple boys ended up almost knocking him out.
I mean, you're talking about the Temple Boys. The Temple Boys,
that was a great tag team name right there, the Temple Boys.
These guys one of them was the commanding officer for our RTC group, and the other one wasn't he like the drum major? So anyway, they're pretty well to do in the school, and we're on a event for ROTC. I want to say it was a funeral. We go back to the Temple's house. They were hosting, and Nathan had a mouth. Man, he would talk some serious trash. And finally, one of the Temples brings out the boxing gloves and says, well, hey, we got a problem. We can solve it right here. Let's put them on. So Nathan's not necessarily a small guy, and he's definitely not a wuss. Puts the gloves on, and they put their gloves on. Next thing you know, they're kind of going around and around, and bam, 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 jab, hook, jab, jab, jab. I mean, Nathan's head just popping backwards like it's just going out of style. And I remember because Nathan and I were pretty close at the time, and I was real shocked because Nathan struck me as a real tough dude, and he was getting lit up. It was pretty funny. It was also one of the last times I remember hanging with Nathan at work.
Yeah, but for some reason I seem to remember a heavier guy that was in the computers that was there once or twice.
Oh,
and then
gosh.
he disappeared.
Oh, that was Ashby.
No.
Ashby was in the computers, but he wasn't heavy.
Yeah, but no, this was a heavy. It might have been that Nathan.
God, yes. It's crazy.
Because y'all were trying to show me how to nuke somebody's computer.
Oh, gosh.
Y'all were trying to...
Whoa.
Statute of limitations. And then I think yours got hit once or twice.
Oh, a ton of times. But anyhow, moving on. Little decorum, sir.
Well, we're going to tell secrets.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Kind of like the maestro when asked for what I was smoking that night.
I think we lost Rob. Rob has left us.
Are we still recording them?
Oh, of course we're recording.
Oh, great.
We're always recording. We're always live.
Recording.
Oh, boy. We'll have to get Rob back in the fold here in just a second. Unless he just got tired of the shenanigans and said we're done.
They might.
Screw you guys, I'm done.
Y'all were talking about Nathan. I'm going to go call him. As Nathan's putting on his lipstick.
he's the guy from the Billy Madison movie.
Yeah, Rob's top of the list. You went to a party, Rob.
Man, am I glad I called that guy. Oh, my goodness.
All right, so did we discuss the spoiler, that the other WWE spoiler that happened this week?
Oh, yes, the fifth man for Raw.
Team Raw? Yeah.
Apparently, Brian, you found this out this week?
They somewhere or another that the WWE accidentally released that it was going to be Sami Zayn as the fifth Raw member.
So that'll be interesting. You got Braun Strowman, Sami Zayn, Owens and Jericho, and Roman Reigns.
Could you?
Roman Reigns. So Reigns, Jericho, Owens.
I thought it was Rollins.
Oh, maybe you're right.
And not Reigns.
But with Sami Zayn on that team, it's interesting what they'll do with that. I think that Survivor Series, as far as the 5-on-5s, honestly, I think it could be a cluster.
No, well, I think it'll be interesting because now you've added Baron Corbin.
Right.
And I don't remember him being officially announced.
Well, you got Corbin, you got AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose. John Cena apparently is going to miss Survivor Series, which is crazy to me.
I get that he's got such a busier schedule now. I mean, he's basically doing pretty much the same thing The Rock did and just transitioning his way out while he's still on top, which is good. I mean, he gets to benefit from that. But at the same time, I also think that it's kind of hard to imagine like Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, any of these big events with Cena not there. Does he maybe do a run-in? Does he maybe show up towards the end of it? They fly him out because he's taping a different thing? I don't know. But for the time being, Survivor Series is without John Cena.
Yeah, I hope they just let him do his thing and they can bring him back for more than just the what's the word I'm looking for? Just like here I'm gonna run down for this match type thing.
Right.
Let's see, where is that? See if I can find it. Who all's on Team SmackDown?
I mean, you've got also the the women's division where SmackDown is basically like a skeleton crew. You got Nikki Bella and the rest of them.
Well, yeah, I just saw a little picture, and it's got 2 empty spots for Raw. I think it's probably maybe the Gray cutouts. Maybe Sasha and Charlotte. Or not Sasha, or not Charlotte, but Sasha. And then you're probably going to get old Red back. or whatever. Because I think she's even like, I'm coming back soon. I think she's even tweeting out there. But that'll be the way that you can prolong the Sasha and Charlotte. Because you can have them just simply not get along.
Right. They'll slap each other, they tag each other in.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn. Let's see if we can get Rob back on the line here so we can close this out appropriately. Poor Rob out there in the bayou of West Vigod, VA. The violins, or excuse me, not the violins, but the fiddles are playing right now.
Turn out to love.
It's me.
Paging Rob Hefner. Paging Robert Hefner.
See, y'all start talking about the
Let's see if we can get Rob to join us here.
Oh, yeah, there's talk that Undertaker may be coming back.
Undertaker.
Ramping up.
Undertaker. He's back. Rob Hefner is back.
I am. See, you all scared me with all that old time talk, and I was like, started having flashbacks.
Did you start getting cold sweats?
Yeah, I started having to look for my title.
So, well, here's a look at the list for the tag team.
Oh my goodness! So if you go to WWE.com and you look at the Survivor Series breakdown, there's the tag team elimination match. So for SmackDown, we've got American Alpha and the Usos,
Hype Brothers.
the Hype Bros, and Rhino and Heath Slater. With Raw, we've got the New Day.
Right. That's it.
New Day. They're gonna get beat.
See, I was hoping the WWE wasn't going to do what they're doing with stacking all your main event talent on a team. I was hoping you'd have some single matches to kind of draw out the pay-per-view since they're saying it's going to be 4 hours long.
The Intercontinental Open Challenge.
There's an Intercontinental Open Challenge being listed here. If you're looking at the gray silhouette, looks like The Miz. But wouldn't you use this chance if you got it to move The Miz up? Oh, yeah. Almost forgot to bring this up. So the 5-on-5 for the top 5 singles from Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown's got Baron Corbin, Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, and Randy Orton, which actually is a really good team.
Roman and Roman.
So we've got Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman, Chris Jericho, and the 5th man, which is scheduled to be Sami Zayn at this time. If you had a chance to catch SmackDown, you saw Randy Orton apparently joining the Wyatt family.
Which,
beat them.
hey, I'm okay with that if it keeps the Wyatts on TV. Although it does kind of relegate Bray and Luke Harper to a tag team role, but maybe that's where he's better suited for the time being until Orton's done. You know, if they're going to see this through and let Randy Orton be kind of the leader like he was with Legacy, may not be too bad. Yeah, Rob says no.
Yeah,
I just think Bray Wyatt is an awesome talent and an awesome character, and I just think that the WWE has failed to capitalize on the creepiness that could be Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is your modern-day Kevin Sullivan.
Now, that's a comparison that I hadn't heard yet, but I like that one. That's a good one.
I mean...
Well, no, his interviews do make sense. Unlike Kevin. Kevin gets out there sometimes. You're like, whoa, rein it back in, kid.
Yes, no. Oh, wait, no, it was Zodiac.
I could see Bray Wyatt doing the whole, army, how cool would it have been to have a whole army or a whole group of people wearing those jumpsuits with sheep masks?
I mean, I would have thought that was cool.
Everywhere you go, there's somebody standing there with a sheep mask, and the Dean Ambrose beats him down or AJ Styles beats him down, and it's like, and finds out it's not them,
And God, I hope AJ doesn't get involved with him.
Actually, that wouldn't surprise me if AJ Styles somehow got involved with Wyatt.
No, I'm talking about
I'm saying as a fight, you're putting Bray's going after AJ.
Because that would mean AJ would have probably be the face in that whole thing.
Why would... Just after WrestleMania, Bray Wyatt starts going face, has his mini feud with Sheamus, and then all of a sudden he gets hurt again, and they bring him back, and he's a bad guy.
Well, Bray has said he is a Gray type character. He said that before. He's not a good, he's not face or heel. He'll do what's best for the family, and anyway, so he'll do what's best for him and the family. And if that means beating up a good guy, it means beating up a good guy. If it means fighting a bad guy, he'll fight a bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has that persona to him. I kind of like Rob's description, though. It's basically similar to Kevin Sullivan. I like that.
I mean, he's wacky. He's got some wacky in the promos.
So, fellas, we're winding down. It's been a good solid 2 hours of just going back and forth about...
Did you look at me? Goddamn.
Whoa. What? I mean, what? This is awkward.
Goddamn. Thinking, what's his name?
I mean, Brian's talking about...
What's the next files with the lights on? Oh, no.
Wait, what?
$1 made on?
What? Wait, what?
I hope you're smoking more than this one.
All right, now I'm just, like Harrison Ford, I'm getting frantic. I'm just saying.
Is it a match with?
Okay, I don't remember all the lyrics. So you guys are
I remember there's something about Aquaman and something about fish. And
right. Can't help it if I think you're funny when you're mad. Something. Yeah, we just ruined another song. That's right. Right here on Corner to Corner, we're killing the music industry.
Don't say we.
Okay, you? Single-handedly?
See, there you go, getting testy again.
Why you gotta get mad?
What? I don't.
There was something.
There was something
I wanted to.
In the neighborhood.
Here, but I forget what the hell it was.
Oh yeah, the WWE is doing a women's tournament. They're lining up the brackets right now, so they're selecting who they want.
Maybe we'll get lucky and get Blanchard and Eller.
And
both of them have worked with NXT.
Maybe they'll bring Velvet Sky in.
Speaking of Velvet Sky, her boyfriend,
the Bully Ray.
There is talk that Bully Ray may be back on SmackDown at the Rumble.
Yes,
as one of those surprise, and as the Bully.
Surprise, bitches! It's Bully Ray.
Yeah. So
well, there you have it.
First.
Last minute breaking news.
Not really breaking news.
Okay.
We've talked about it before. But
we're carrying the banner. The
banner
Bully Ray.
For Bully Ray. I like Bully Ray. I actually like the Aces and H myself. I thought that was a great little club.
It was a good club.
Dead man's hand.
All right, so We got to wrap this one up, tie it in a bow.
He would do something.
Brian's struggling here.
Struggling.
We're going to get to the close, and he'll be like, oh, yeah.
And,
Ooh.
next week.
On Twitter, Jericho has a list, but Sin Cara has his fists.
Oh, damn. Damn.
Well, I mean, if his Instagram post is anything.
You're a damn poet and didn't even know it.
You know what? Sin Cara, you just made the list.
That's funny.
Oh, man.
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
So you think after Vince hears about this, he goes in there and like jerks him around? It's like, y'all gonna knock this shit off? Or
I mean, you kind of hope somebody does, because this isn't the first time for either one of them. And it's about time they just go,
or is he like, screw it, let's go to my office and y'all beat the tar out of me?
right, just get it done.
Yeah,
Get it over with.
just don't hit the face. You know, I make money off the face. Don't hit the face.
The money maker.
Don't hit the T-Rex skeleton.
The Miz breaks in there. Whoa, not the face. Gotta make his money.
All right, we're gonna settle this with the thumb wrestling.
Rusev, thumb wrestle.
No outside interference in thumb wrestling.
What about the mysterious tag team partners? Of
No, you can't tag team thumb wrestling.
course you can.
No, you can't. You
Well,
got
tag
you
team
gotta do
partner.
it like this. And how do you tag in if you're, you know? It's outside interference when you bring the finger up.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's cheating either way.
No, it's not.
Stan, you only have 2 thumbs. Put that other one away.
I'm pretty sure the great Ric Flair said, "What if Ken?"
Lose if you must, but always cheat.
Correct.
Woo!
Winners cheat. They usually caught
Wow. Winners.
winners.
There you have it, kids.
And I'm a winner.
Chicken dinner.
I'm a rebel, Dobby. Alone.
And with that, hey, you can
He
catch
found
up
his
to
bike.
us. You can catch up to Corner on Twitter at C2C Radio Show. You can catch up to us on Facebook at Corner to Corner Show or cornertocornerwrestling.com, which has a whole bunch of new wrestling photos on there for the NWA Legends Fest 2016.
You know, it's a wonder I escaped the 80s with half of my brain cells.
Yeah, we wonder that a lot. You can also look forward to seeing later this week photos from the WWE live show in Charlottesville and also NXT in Richmond.
I blame my stupidness on my parents for smoking too much LDS in the 60s, and I'm having flashbacks.
LDS?
Yeah,
They wouldn't have smoking them drugs, huh?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Stupid LDS, you know, I know what that would be.
Rob, where can they find Rob, where can they find you on social media?
At Rob Hefner and RDHUWP on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and Rob Hefner on,
On
everything
the
else.
Twitter.
And Brian?
Not going to do it.
You're going to do it.
I'll do it.
Oh, Stan, just say it. You know he's not going to do it.
Yeah, just say, you know, I'm
So
gonna do it.
sad.
Why are you arguing with me?
STRCP21 on the Twitter. Brian Taylor on Facebook. Also, Corner to Corner is on Instagram. Corner to Corner. That's the number 2.
See, when we do this show, you're like my virtual.
Man, don't feel sorry for Virgil. Best storyline
Go
ever.
in there and find me one of them girls and get some money.
I got $500 if you can bounce this basketball. It's a tough job, man. Somebody's got to do it. We will see you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Spreaker.com. We are in close communication with Mr. Eddie Lane. Once Beyond Ringside is back up on the live stream, we will let you know, and we'll be back streaming through both sites. But for the time being, thank you so much for
Wait,
your
did you
continued.
put that stupid video of you unboxing the Slam crate up?
No, I have to edit.
Rob, when you get back, we're going to have to do one. Too many crotch shots, apparently.
No,
Peace.
Stan's not used to shooting videos to everybody.
We're still live.
Y'all have a good night. Thanks for
Janet
listening.
Reno might be listening.
FCC. It's all Rob's fault.
Rob's fault.
I'm not the one shooting video of my junk.
You shot another video